Friends, I apologize for speaking in English because I am not very fluent in Kannada. So I'll try to speak some words in Kannada, but I will be only speaking in English, and I'm sure that you will like it. I'm born and brought up in Srinagar, Kashmir. I'm a Kashmiri Pandit, and let me give my small introduction. I'm basically a journalist. I worked for Indian Express for nearly 28 years. I was the editor. Then I left. And now, for the last 32 years, 31 years, after the exodus of Kashmiri Pandits from Kashmir, we are all here in Bangalore. And I'm the president of the Kashmiri Hindu Samiti as well as, Samaj here. And I'm also the chairman of Kashmiri Hindu Cultural Welfare Trust. So, at the outset, let me tell you, we are grateful to the people of Karnataka. Soon after the exodus in 1990, when we landed in Bangalore, so the people treated us very well. Till date, people are very good, weather is very good, people are very warm, political parties, governments, they all, irrespective of the political parties, whichever government was there, they looked into our problems when we came back. So the problem is, we have been suffering from for ages. This is our 7th exodus. Before that, 6 times we have been thrown out by these foreign invaders. Basically, the Muslim invaders who came from Central Asia. And this is the 7th time. I am a witness to it, and I have suffered. So we were suffering all along because of the Article 370, which was in place in Kashmir. You all know about Article 370 and 35A. What was the implication? These were the 2 articles which were introduced by our government, central government, then at the instance of our Prime Minister then. Anyway, rightly or wrongly, I don't know what was this thing. I don't want to get into those controversies and details. But this Article 370 and 35A, they were coming in the way. They were the barriers between rest of the country, that means India and the state of J&K. And state of J&K, they had their own. We had our own constitution. We had our own flag. We had our own everything. So nothing which was applicable in the rest of the India was applicable in J&K. So that is why this Article 370 had to be removed. It was a temporary provision, but the previous governments never thought of this thing, which gave a special status to this state. And because of that, because of the Muslim majority there and all that, they took advantage of this whole thing. And there were attempts which were made by Pakistan and our enemies to convert the state of J&K into Muslim-dominated state so that this Ghazwa-e Hind, so that they can make this as an Islamic state and access to Pakistan or whatever they want, or act as a freedom of this thing. But thanks to the government of India, successful government, they never allowed it to happen. But with what happened, they became very bold. They became pampered by this thing. Then what all happened in this thing, how they were targeting, how the Hindus of Kashmir were targeted. We were only 9% at the time of partition, that is 1947. We were only 9% Kashmiri Pandits there. Rest of them were all Muslims. Then subsequently we reduced to 4% in this thing. Now 2.1% in 1990, when final blow was put on us. So what happened? They thought that this is going to be liberated, and at that point of time, they targeted Kashmiri Pandits who held the flag of India high. And we never gave up our nationalism. We said we are all nationalists. We belong to the India, and this thing. But they wanted us to either get convert, relive, Galiva, Mariu. You would have all seen this movie, Kashmir Files. Whatever Kashmir Files has said, is 100% right. It's only a tip of the iceberg which she has shown. Nobody can show the atrocities on Kashmiri Pandits in such a short 2.5 hours or 3 hours. So whatever he has said representatively, he has said everything, how the press failed there, how the governments failed there, and how this thing. So what happened? Finally, we were made targets. They started killing us. Selective killing happened. Nearly 800 to 850 people were killed, including Tiklal Teplu and all the major people there, who were all who is who there. They were all targeted. Anybody, and also some Hindus also who were working there, they targeted. And a day came when we had no other go, but there were rapes. They used to cut people into pieces. And finally, what happened? We had no other go but to leave. We left everything behind and ran for our lives, and also saved the honor of our daughters and women. And I'm sure we have got this, our army people with us, that they have seen it. They will also testify after some time. They will also tell you what happened. So as a migrant, I won't say migrant people go out of their own will, but we are all forced displaced people. We left everything there, jobs, properties, everything, and came. We thought that it's going to be a temporary affair, but it never got resolved. And for the last 32 years, we continue to suffer. The most surprising thing is that all those people who killed us, they are still free, roaming on the streets of Kashmir. So in the last 32 years, not a single person was prosecuted. Why he was not prosecuted? Because we were not there to file a complaint. We filed a complaint, and when they started the case, they said there is no witness, and the person who was given a complaint is not available. They closed all the cases, and then they are still wandering free and all that. So this is what we got. We did not get justice for this thing. But all that we wanted is that we wanted to save our country. We wanted to be Indians. We wanted to integrate this thing. And what the present government under Modi has done, he has integrated the state of Jammu and Kashmir with the rest of the country. And now we are one. People there and people here, people in J&K and people in the rest of the country, they come under the same law. There is no special status for them. There is no status this thing, and that's why they are trying to curb the militancy there. But again, in the last 8 years, hundreds of militants have been killed, and hundreds of militants again come back. But it's very difficult job. We salute our Jawans who are guarding us, who are guarding our LOC there, and we salute them for safeguarding the interests of our country. And they can tell you that it is very difficult to eliminate this thing, because this has all gone deep into their minds. You would have seen day before yesterday, again, one more Pandit was targeted. So whenever they do something on this thing, they just target us. So we have left everything there, and this thing. But it is now the people of India, they all know, especially after the Kashmir files came and after this Article 370 was removed, they all know what was the importance of this thing, and what is the importance of all these things. So we all, as patriotic, as all nationalists, we should safeguard our country, we should fight together. I don't mind waiting for another 5 years, another 10 years to go back, but I want that all this terrorism should go out, because in the last 30 years of this thing, it has been spreading in other parts of the country. I don't want my state of Kerala or Andhra Pradesh or UP to go in the same manner as Kashmir. So I can see, because I am an eyewitness to all these things, I can see how this Ghazwa-e-Hind or this Islamic Caliphate is spreading in our country. It has to be curbed, not only in Kashmir. Kashmir, they are doing it.
Right now, what is the situation?
Right now, situation is not very good, but Government of India is doing its best. They are giving the best of the thing to people there. They want to convert them. But in the last 70 years, it was grilled in their mind. And it's very difficult to change their mind. It is not an easy job. You give them gold, you give them anything, but you know, it's all over the world. This phenomenon is happening. You see what's happening in the Europe, what's happening in all other countries. So, but we have to protect our country, and stern action has to be taken against anybody who goes against our nation, who goes against this thing. See, that's what I said. I am ready to sacrifice for another 10 years. I will not go back. I will not claim my property. But terrorism has to be eliminated. And I'm sure if we are firm, we will eliminate and we will live as a country. So this Article 370, removal of Article 370 will again create an awareness among the people about what it was and how it will be after this thing. And we have to support the government and see to it that none of our own states, none of our parts of the country go the way Kashmir has gone. This is what I want to say. Thank you.
Kashmiri